Thorns can be quite beautiful. Don't believe me? Think of a rose. Roses are beautiful. Thorns embodies the idea of being beautiful, but with a defense. Some may see thorns and think of hardship, pain, sin, and curses. But I see beauty in hidden pain, or the difficult aspects that are intertwined with pleasure or love.
Thorn is the baby of the family. She was the unexpected surprise. Being the youngest doesn't always mean being spoiled. It also means to bottle up what you feel so you don't get labeled as the sensitive one. Thorn learned early on that her mother doesn't do emotions. To Cassandra, emotions are weakness, something to be dismissed, not understood. Ever since the girls were little, Cassandra raised her daughters on 3 principles. Weakness gets you crushed, independence keeps you alive, and men will always disappoint you. Cassandra never explained why. But Thorn quickly learned to not question her mother about things. She's seen how Cassandra gets when you questioned her. Cassandra doesn't explain herself, she commands. The kind of mother who ends every argument with "because I said so." Thorn had to watch Raven lose that battle over and over and over again. She admires Raven for standing up for herself, but she can also see how exhausted she gets too. Thorn doesn't think it's worth the battle. Instead, she finds her own escapes, a quick smoke, a few hours lost in a crowded bar, the rare, meaningless hookup she always regrets. Too many emotions come with that. On the lonelier nights, she steals her mother's liquor, chasing numbness just long enough to quiet everything inside. She knows this is wrong, but what else can she do? She tried saying affirmations in the mirror, but she felt stupid talking to herself. She did journaling, but writing to no one was weird. Plus, she was worried her mom would find it and read it. So when her sister asked to come out, she was overjoyed, having a few moments of freedom and silence, and an opportunity to shake something, when Ayumi interrupted her groove. At first she was annoyed, but Ayumi noticed Raven been missing for a while and showed her location was turned off. Thorn became worried. Raven doesn't turn off her location. Something bad must have happened. Back at the beach, Raven finally decides to confront her father. She's angry. All she wanted was to enjoy herself, to forget. But no. He had to appear now, stirring everything up, pushing her to see Marcel. For what reason? She deserves answers, and she's not leaving without them. Raven blurts out the words before she can stop herself, her voice trembling. "What do you want from me?" she pleads, her throat tightening. The questions tumble out, chaotic and desperate. "Why are you bothering me? Why did you have to die?" Tears stream down her face, her breath hitching as the pain spills over. "Just tell me what all of this means. Why are you showing me my childhood?" Her knees almost give out, sobbing. Everything she's bottled up finally breaking free. Raven doesn't know what came over her. She reaches out to him, but the outcome was different. The world around her shifts, and before her eyes. The girls went around the island looking for Raven. Ayumi wanted to take the opportunity to talk to Thorn. She found out that Thorn hooked up with a mutual friend of hers, who's older. She wanted to talk to Thorn about it first. Ayumi didn't say anything to Raven. She needed to see where Thorn's head was at. She wanted to have a heart-to-heart with Thorn. Ayumi understands what they go through with their mom. She wanted Thorn to know that she can come to her to talk about anything. Thorn was embarrassed at first. She appreciated Ayumi not telling Raven. She doesn't want to disappoint her. Thorn never wants to bother people about how she feels. She would talk to Ayumi, but what if Ayumi goes to Raven? She doesn't want to risk that. Thorn listened quietly until Ayumi brought up her father. "Nothing you do can bring him back," she said softly. The words hit harder than Ayumi realized. Thorn snapped, her defenses rising instantly. She told Ayumi to mind her business, that she had no right to speak about the man who walked out on her. Thorn's anger softened when she noticed Ayumi's face twist in shock. For a moment, she thought she'd said too much, but then she followed Ayumi's gaze. Ayumi wasn't even looking at her. Thorn turned around to see what she was looking at. To her surprise, it's Raven, passed out on a bench. The girls were concerned. Raven doesn't pass out on a bench. Without thinking, they ran in Raven's direction. They kept taking out their phones, trying to figure out who to call. They couldn't call Cassandra. She doesn't know the girls snuck out. All they know and hope for, Raven better be okay. She needs to be okay. The world around Raven twisted and went black. Her chest tightened. Was this it? Did she unsubscribe from this life? But then the shadows thinned and there it was. A fucking crypt. All those sleepless nights, the haunting visions, for a crypt? Raven couldn't believe it. None of this made sense. And before she could even process what was happening, the world around her shifted. She was inside the crypt. As she was preparing for the not-so-nice words for her father, something catches her attention. As she looks down at the long hallway, she notices someone is sitting. She can't tell who it is. She's not even sure what to do here. She has to check it out. Right. Raven takes a deep breath and forces herself forward. Her father wouldn't have shown her this place for nothing. She has to see what's waiting for her. Each step feels sharp, electric, like pins and needles pressing into her skin. As she gets closer to the doorway, she comes to a standstill. Raven couldn't tell who was sitting in the chair. She was more focused on the look of the room. The room was dark, gray walls, cobwebs clinging to the corners, deep cracks running across the stone. It was in terrible condition. 3 urns sat on a dusty shelf, which made sense given where she was. But what didn't make sense was the figure sitting there, staring at them. Raven's eyes drifted across the room. A nearby shelf held a collection of weapons. One of them looked as if it had been used recently. She then sees a small memorial, its centerpiece a weathered book. None of it made sense. Her heart began to race. Every instinct screamed for her to leave, but her feet refused to move. She'd almost forgotten about the person sitting there, until they stood up. Raven's breath caught in her throat. There was something achingly familiar about the way the figure moved. No, it couldn't be. Her chest tightened as she whispered,
Mom.
Raven was frightened by Ayumi and Thorn. She doesn't know how she got on the bench, but she's flustered. She could have sworn what she saw was real. Naturally, Ayumi had questions. She said she saw Raven step out for a moment, but she hasn't returned in a while. They panicked when they saw her on the bench like that. Raven apologized for ruining the night. She doesn't know how she got on the bench. Raven explained the last thing she remembered was stepping out and seeing Marcel with someone else. She needed to step away for a moment to clear her head. The girls weren't mad at Raven, just glad to see she's okay. Marcel, a different story. He's not a priority right now. They both are mentally plotting against Marcel, they just don't say it out loud. Thorn feels like Raven is hiding something. It's not like Raven to sleep on a bench like that in the middle of the night. Something else happened. The walk home was quiet. The sisters haven't said a word to each other, both of them exhausted from their long night. Raven is too busy trying to digest what she experienced. She knows how crazy she'll sound explaining everything. She also doesn't think Thorn will believe her if she said what she saw. Thorn stepped in front of Raven, stopping her cold. Her voice was steady, but her eyes gave her away. I've seen you more torn up than this, Raven. You don't just pass out on a bench. Tell me what really happened. At first, Raven was offended and completely unprepared. She hadn't even begun to process what she'd just experienced. How do you explain something you can barely understand yourself? Raven does know. If she doesn't say anything now, Thorn will bug her about it. She told Thorn to meet her by the bench just in case their mom steps out. Raven did her best to explain everything. Marcel, her father showing up again, the crypt, everything inside it. And then the part that made her stomach twist, the fact that their mother was there. Thorn couldn't believe what she was hearing. She tried convincing Raven that maybe she was dreaming. Raven did consider the possibility, but that was too vivid to be a dream. Thorn took a while to digest what she heard. It didn't make sense. Why would Mom be inside a crypt with urns? She thought. Raven almost didn't say it out loud. The thought felt too heavy. But what if everything started to make sense now? The secrets, the bitterness, the way their mother flinched at his name. Thorn wanted to laugh, to call her sister crazy, but the words stuck in her throat. What if Raven wasn't imagining it? What if their mother really was hiding something? The thought sank into her chest like ice. Raven apologized to her sister. She doesn't want to think her mom could be capable of such things. It's a huge jump, but what else is there to think? Thorn started to drift in her thoughts. Misthinking, she was thinking about the crypt Raven talked about. She remembers there's a crypt in Ravenwood that everyone talks about. Thorn needed to get comfortable for this. People whisper about a crypt hidden deep within the old cemetery in Ravenwood, one that only the magically gifted can reach. Every now and then, someone hosts a party nearby the Eternal Hollow Cemetery, and a few drunk souls try to find it. No one ever has. This was the first Raven had ever heard of it. She's explored every cemetery, even the one in Ravenwood, and never stumbled across anything like that. And if it's true, then how the fuck did her mother manage to hide it with magic? Thorn quickly sat up. Next time I get wind of that party, we're going, and I'm helping you find that crypt. Raven didn't expect Thorn's help. Part of her didn't even want it. What if something went wrong? What if Thorn got hurt? She didn't have magic. She shouldn't be dragged into this. But deep down, she knew this was the only way to find answers. So, against her better judgment, she accepted. She just needed help. From someone else.